Ladies and gentlemen, today Mr. Great has the honor to have XL in our studio. As you can see on his shirt, he has his name and his brand on his t-shirt, and we will talk about what XL does and what is XL Motorsports and what is XL Media TV is about. Go ahead. Your turn.
How you doing, Alex?
How are you? Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Well, I'm Mr. XL from XL Motorsports, XL Media TV, creative director of the company. Pretty much a media company, photography and video services available, covering any event that brings family and friends together.
Cool. Where are you guys based? Are you in Brooklyn, New Jersey? Where are you?
We're based out in Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn, so we pretty much cover the Brooklyn and all the 5 boroughs.
When people rent, let's say, antique car for the filming, what are the keys and how does it work? How do you go to the clubs that have antique cars? You look for friends. You go on Facebook. Craigslist? How do people find a proper car for filming?
Well, we've been part of we established ourselves within the car community and the car industry, and we pretty much cover every and as much car event and automotive events in the 5 boroughs that happen. So we're really involved in the car community. We do antiques, we do exotics, we do import shows, muscle car shows, custom car shows, and we pick up our friends and clientele from there.
Having an expensive car of that stature is expensive hobby. Not everybody can afford a garage with a couple 4 or 5 cars of that stature. And those people don't need really the money. They get paid they doing this for fun. What is the process? How to find? Let's say it's a $500 for a shoot, $1,000 for a shoot. It's who you know. How it's to get the best value. How to find the proper, really cool car for, let's say, a wedding or event or film, and not break a buck.
Well, it all depends on the client, what the client's budget is, what they're looking for, what's the look they're looking for, be it antique, be it exotic.
Is there any shortcuts? Let's say I give you, let's say, footage and of your car, film for you, and you give me use your car for free. Those people have the footage of their car already. So is there any suggestions how to? Everybody wants to pay less, whatever the price is. How do I save? How do I pay half price? How do I get it for free? Is there any suggestions in that sense, to get best value?
The best value you could do is, yes, if you have friends who have cars, can I borrow your car for a shoot? Obviously that is free and you bring it to. But if I got to provide a vehicle for either your shoot, for your filming, then yes, I have to pay the owner of the vehicle. And then there's liability, gas, transportation, and so forth like that.
So what are the $500, $1,000? What are the basic levels where people can start booking the antique cars?
Your basic is going to be pretty much $1.25 an hour and on up, based on length of time, location, how far the person has to travel, to the location of the shoot.
Let's talk about filming inside of the car. One of the things that I do, sometimes I don't have access to a brick or other and I film something that I cannot film at brick, so I could use, let's say, my car as my studio, and let's say I have lenses that allows me to film from very short distance, and I'll be, let's say, with my client, let's say, on the front seat, so the client is watching what I'm doing and how it's supposed to be done on the driver's seat. I'll be on the passenger seat, and the subjects that we film, whether it's a love story or it's a sketch or whatever, we're filming on the back seat. What is the best way to kind of film inside of the car? Is there any particular advice, especially in the winter? In the summertime, people can film, let's say, outside. There are plenty of parks and stuff, but in the wintertime, when you need to travel to your subjects in a long distance and the studios might be not available or cost money, car could be, it's a tiny space, but it's still very intimate production could be done. Is there any particular suggestion that you can provide?
Yeah. Well, you have a few options with that. If we're doing a still, we could still do a vehicle inside of a photo studio. But if we're doing a shot where it has to be moving, either I'll have a GoPro mounted on the dash, which will provide the HD footage, 180D or 4K footage. We could have a different attachments to the side windows, so this way again.
What is the best way to light up the car inside? Because a hard light kind of gives big shadows, and you want to have a soft feel that is inside of the car. At the same time, sun moves, and you might have during the shoot. Let's say you start in early, and then the sun moves, and the shadows kind of move. You move your car with it, like you move the sun. What do you do?
Depending on the camera, we could use a lot of ND filters, to darken it. Obviously, your different measurements inside on the camera will darken it, which you could change within pre-production.
I don't think you can put it on the camera because I'm filming with the camera and there is no room. There is a roof unless it's like open. So I have the light separately from the camera.
Right, but I'm saying you're gonna use. Sometimes you can use natural lighting. Okay. You could also change that in pre-production, and then you could use LED lighting, which is battery operated, laid on
very light, very small,
and laid on the lap of the subject, and maneuver it all different around areas. You can use.
They look like a villain. Say when I laid out the light from underneath, the light coming. It's very unusual.
It depends on the kind of look you're trying to have.
Okay, my next question would be, how do you film, from the car outside? Let's say I do a lot of parades, and my car is moving, and people around me, and I need to film the parade. Or a car is moving in interesting park and settings, so I need to mount basically, and I do a lot of live streaming, so which means that I have one camera from my phone on Facebook, one camera on YouTube, so I have a number of a couple of 2-3 tablets, 2-3 phones filming at the same time, and a couple of GoPros mount. So what are the best ways to mount the gear, and just in case, God forbid, there is an accident, you don't want those little GoPro, they're heavy, and they in your face, that can bring some damage. Like how do you mount your equipment?
Well, again, you could mount equipment on the glass. You also, if
the car is moving,
well, against on speed. So again, you can't be moving, 30, 40 miles an hour. If you're filming, you have to be moving at a slower pace. It's not you're not filming a car chase, anything like that.
Why not?
Well, then that calls for another vehicle at the same speed, filming, which again increases the budget. So you can do a couple of things. If it's you could have a cameraman on a bike. You could have a cameraman on a skateboard or on a scooter, driving alongside the vehicle as the vehicle's moving. If it's a different kind of a shot, you have the car driving, and you have another vehicle at the same speed with apparatus camera hanging overhead. Shooting.
Wow, so you use probably cranes and stuff like that. Cool. If folks would like maybe to collaborate with you and maybe hire you and or use your services, what is your Instagram or Facebook page? How do they find you?
We're on anything. You can find us all on Google, but on Instagram we at XL Motor. For XL Media TV, we're at XL Media TV. We're on Twitter as Extreme Lincoln, and we're on Flickr. We have our own site, which is www.extremelincoln.com, which has all our services, pictures, archives, and everything like that. And we are also on YouTube at XL Motor, XL Media TV.
You local Brooklyn, this is Brooklyn Studios. This is Brick. You should come here more often. The studios is free, equipment is free. So I don't know if you ever been here before, but it's pretty decent.
I've done a few classes.
Yeah. So you know of existence of the space. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have more questions, please comment, and we might have Axel back in our interviews again for you. Thank you.
To you live.